Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to episode number 17 of Playing with House Money on the Toilets to Titles Network. I'm Ice. You can find me on Twitter at Iceman_1013. This is my co-host, DJ Pru at PruBaby10. How are you doing today, my guy?
I'm doing great, man. Roller coaster of a week. But, man, happy to have finished on top. You know, it doesn't always happen as good as it, it's not as always a good a finish, but man, I'm definitely happy to be able to recap some of last week with the people. I'll tell you that much.
Yes, sir. It feels like it was a roller coaster weekend that finished well on both sides.
Oh yeah.
I'll be talking that through on tomorrow's episode of the SGC, but similar things.
Yeah, I expect that follow up. I just like to be able to get into the club every once in a while. The SGC, I feel like, is just that's coming. That's like, death and taxes. That's coming. So I'm just happy, I got to hold it down for Thursdays and the other sports. So yeah. I'll let you hold off on yours, on your winners. They can come and get that laundry list.
Tell the people what winners you had. And
so
why don't you start off with FSU, maybe?
You knew I would. I'll jump to Saturday. I'll actually double back to Friday for a couple small ones, but we obviously had all three sports last weekend. It was great. I told everybody I wanted to really indulge in just everything. I had a couple times I had work, a couple weekends, and then the other weekends we just weren't able to kind of focus on everything going on and stuff like that. So Saturday was nice because Florida State played early. And don't get me wrong, I looked at the lines at first that morning and I was like, dude, -2 seems kind of disrespectful to Florida State. After the Boston College game, I kind of understood, but it was like Clemson played Duke week 1 and then 2 D1 AA teams, and you're giving them 2 points, and then sure as shit, man, they punched them in the mouth, gave them a great game. But they ended up on top, and we gave Toys the Titles a best daily bet. It was Keon Coleman anytime touchdown at -105. He ended up scoring Florida State's first touchdown, so that was nice and sweet. The rest of the game obviously was a battle, but it ended up coming out on top, for everything. Gambling-wise, all the lines ended up being hit pretty well. So we had an SGP that I sprinkled on Twitter. I threw like a little dart on Twitter, and I told people, Keon Coleman was plus 650 for 2 touchdowns, but I wasn't going to run it. I didn't want to run it. I had cold feet about running it because I didn't want to jinx Florida State. I'm superstitious at the end of the day, but we ended up running an SGP. I sent you that parlay the day before and was like, man, I just love these lines. It's Keon 2+, Jordan Travis over 245, Florida State over 28.5. And then, and Keon's yardage, it was only like 68, or it might even been like 80 or something. It might have been close to 80 now that I'm thinking about it, or he finished with 80. I want to say it was 68.5, but we boosted that to plus 2250 and cashed on the OT touchdown. So they went into OT with 24, and he had 1, and then look at God. So that was great. That was an amazing feeling, obviously, as a diehard Noles fan, and Clemson has been killing them for years, and I have a buddy that's a diehard Clemson fan, and I know I'm getting that FaceTime call as soon as the clock hits 0 if they lose that game. So I won't lie, I was sweating, and I wasn't really sweating the bet. I was sweating the game more than anything, but I'm glad both of them came through. And we had Ohio State, Notre Dame. I know the line was at 3 when we talked, 3.5 it might have been actually, which would have worked out. But when I saw it Saturday, it was at 3. So I gave everybody -6.5 or plus 6.5 for Notre Dame at -154. I like the value, or 156. It's not great for a straight bet, but hey, it came through, and green is green. So
yep.
We did give out a couple. I gave out a couple Atlanta Braves plays on Friday night. I was tied up all day Friday, a lot later than I wanted to be, so I didn't get to play as much. But luckily, I got a 2-leg out. Obviously, we always talk about Acuna homer and Riley homer, so a couple of the guys in the Discord got those. And then, NFL was rough this weekend, but we finished strong. We had a promo on DraftKings It was the first team to run an offensive snap in the red zone since it was the 2 games. And they gave me the Eagles at plus 115, and it was a max 1 unit bet. So that ended up hitting right away. And then a plus 592 parlay and a plus 1500 parlay on the Las Vegas Raiders and Pittsburgh Steelers game Sunday night. So we really finished strong. I didn't do a unit tracking combo for this weekend. It was just, I kind of was just enjoying the wins as they came, but great weekend. I mean, can't ask for more.
No, I mean there was definitely a couple. I know you've talked about your winners. I posted one in the Gilded chat for the Monday Night Football, just Mike Evans over 4.5 receptions last night at plus 114.
And I ran that because of you as well.
Yeah. We had Tutu Atwell as well at over 4.5 for also plus 114, and he finished with 4 on 9 targets and a touchdown. And I said we should have just ran them both for touchdowns. They were plus 185 and plus 2. Tutu was like plus 200 or plus 220 for a TD. So we were one reception away from that double.
And he should have got the first. Tutu should have got the first score of the game.
Yeah. Well,
and that's just a terrible review, to be honest with you. I seen the rubber go up, but his heel wasn't down, in my opinion. So, but we move.
Yeah, and then there was, I'm pretty sure I gave out a K. We won a K's prop, and I can't remember which day that was.
Saturday.
Was it Saturday?
That was the early slate.
Yeah, Peterson for the Mets and Scooball. 6 and 9 Ks was plus 498, so it was a decent win, and I haven't given many. I haven't given many MLB plays out recently. There's the odd one or two, the odd home run parlay, but I leave that up to you for the most part. The Ks is the ones I normally put out, but yeah, there was.
They have good value. The K plays, especially the ones you run, like Scooball and Pearson had. It was just good odds. If you can find value. Yeah. If you can find value, run it.
And that's it, right? That's what we're looking for. We missed the 736, both of them to hit 8 by 1. Peterson finished on 7. And a couple of days before that, we missed out on a 968 double. Jason Steele to have 6 Ks. I think that was probably beginning of last week, and he finished with 5 and he got pulled. So yeah, I mean, we're close. It's just like you say, we're finding the value. We talked last Thursday as well. Last Thursday night's game, the 49ers. Yeah. There was a lot that kind of hit on that. You had the 49ers over. I mean, I said 49ers first half minus 6.5. That hit. You had the 49ers the over 30 points. So yeah, it was a decent wire to wire. Thursday through Monday was decent, and we definitely come out plus money. So it was definitely a good weekend. Could have been better. They always could be better, but we take the positives. And that being said, we move on to this week and couple of big matchups. So I see this weekend.
Yeah, we got a repeat matchup too, actually, from last week. I know, I don't want people to think I'm sounding like a broken record here, but like I said, these standings are getting close, man, and it's just one of those things where the end of the season is always kind of weird for some of the teams, like the in division rivals, or like the guys that you're only a few games ahead of. You haven't played really all season, and then next thing you know, you got them once a week for the last 3 of the last crucial weeks of the season and whatnot. So we're obviously, we're nearing the end of September. So everybody's right at that 160, 157, stuff like that mark. So we only got so many more. And this weekend we have 3 that are really going to, determine where these teams are going to land on these standings. You got Cubs Brewers. The Cubs have kind of been in between like a half dozen games the last couple weeks. They had a few series in the last month that really, really hurt them. I think it really started with that Arizona series, but I don't know, man. That's a gritty team. They got a lot of fight, a lot of heart. The young guys on that team really, I feel like it's really what gels it together. Like when Chris Morel hits a home run, I feel like everybody on that team feels as though, like their little brother just hit a homer in the World Series. I think you can rally around that type of stuff. If they can somehow come up with a sweep this weekend, anything could happen. And then you got Texas and Seattle, which is a rematch from last weekend. We obviously mentioned that. Texas woke up last week. Obviously, I kind of came at them a little bit. I think that seems to bite me in the butt a little too many, a little too often on this show. But man, everybody in that, like Texas, Houston, and Seattle at 1, 2, 3 in that division are all within 5 games. Beginning of the week, I think it was 2.5 from Houston, and they won basically all weekend. I think they went 2-1 this weekend or last weekend, and so I mean you're talking about literally a handful of games, and they're all playing basically each other. So that's going to be another big one if Texas can at least keep up, the little streak they're on. It hasn't been everybody how it was earlier this year, but it's been the right people. It a trip like back-to-back homers. I want to say Monday night or Sunday night. So they're really catching on at the right time. That's going to be a huge series. If Texas can pull out 2, they'll likely take the 1 seed. So then you got Tampa Bay versus Toronto, which this one is big, but only because Baltimore is in first and Tampa Bay is facing Toronto, who is the 3 seed, and you get Baltimore, who gets the Boston Red Sox dead last in the division. Doesn't really matter. So obviously you expect them to win that series. So Tampa Bay can't lose this series to Toronto if they want to really, have a real shot at it. So we got some big ones that not, maybe not gambling purposes as, crazy, but these teams are going to be playing for a lot. So
yeah,
you'll have the effort and the energy is better to bet on than, a terrible matchup every once in a while.
That makes sense. And who are we looking at in particular? So I know Texas.
Yeah. I don't want to say what I will say. Texas, who's been hot for Texas lately, like really, really consistent, Mitch Garver. I've been playing him pretty constantly in the last week or so, maybe 5-6 days. Corey Seager, but it's been hit or miss. You can't just kind of go all in on them, but I do expect Corey Seager to show up when the lights are brightest. Mitch Garver's hot right now. I do expect to watch Julio Rodriguez be a superstar. But I got my eyes on Cody Bellinger for the Cubs. I know he wants to get extended. He wants to make his money if he doesn't get extended. And for Tampa Bay, I think it's really this is gonna really rely on the shoulders of Randy Arozarena and Yandy Diaz, like it always does. I think Brandon Lowe has given them enough. Isaac Paredes has given them enough. Luke Raleigh. So I really think it's going to be a Randy's make or break. I could say Yandy, but he's always producing. I think Randy Arozarena has to be great this weekend for them.
And you mentioned the Orioles just slightly. This is
Ryan O'Hearn. Just go Ryan O'Hearn.
This is my Gunner shirt.
Shout out to Gunner. He's been great to us this year. But as of the last 3 weeks, I don't know what Ryan O'Hearn has been doing, but my goodness, bro. Oh my god. Every time I don't take Ryan O'Hearn, I watch him go 4 for 4 with 2 homers and like 8 RB. He is on a crazy streak for Baltimore this year, like to end the season. So I love Gunner. Shout out my boy. He's cashed us on a lot. I could probably name a dozen plays he's cashed us on. So, but I love Ryan O'Hearn right now. He's probably hottest hitter on that team.
Sounds good, bro. And if you want any of the football content that we provide over here at Toilets to Titles from Pru and myself, like there's some rankings on the website at toiletstotitles.com. There's a bunch of that's where you find all of our videos, everything else that the team are delivering from a fantasy perspective. You can get it over there. If you're watching us on YouTube this afternoon, please hit that like and subscribe button. It means a lot to us. And if you want to interact with us, we mentioned during the winners section about a couple of plays that we had posted in Gilded. That is the chat where all of the title tribe are in there. There's 250 people in there talking about fantasy football, college football, game day chats, all of that kind of stuff, and playing with house money. We have our own sections in there where we're posting some plays for the guys in the chat. And for anyone that's a Patreon with Toilets to Titles, we give out some very special bets just for them, especially on Monday nights. But if you want to join that, as we 3 weeks through football season now, if you want to jump in there, just let us know. We'll put you in touch with Coach, or we can get you in that Gilded chat, so you don't miss out on anything. And I've already touched on it. Playing with House Money presents the SGC. Bounce back into action last weekend. Catch the new episode tomorrow afternoon. But now we get to talk about what you will call proper football.
Yeah, this is what the people want. This is what the people want. And I told you last week in a text, I was like, man, I know I said the whole thing about betting on kids and I hate betting college, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna see if I can find some value on these apps and see what I'm really geared to, or see if I can dial in and get some things going. And then Saturday maybe gave me a little confidence. But for those plays that I try to put some crazy stuff together or try to find crazy value, those you'll have to reach out and get to those places he just mentioned. So for now, the main games that I'm looking for, we got number 10 Utah against number 19 Oregon State Friday night. So 2 ranked teams, obviously Friday top 20. Yeah, Friday Night Lights, man. They kind of switch it up. I do like the college schedule every once in a while. I feel like there's always a game on a night you don't expect to have any football to watch, and then sure as hell you get a top 20 matchup. And the lines, the first few weeks of the season have been kind of weird, I guess, for from the outside looking in. Like when you see Utah, top 15 ranked, they have a big win week 1, and they're at top 10, and then you see the lines for a matchup against the number 19 Oregon State, and they're actually dogs. They're actually underdogs in this game. Mm-hmm. The books are giving Oregon State 3.5 points, so I'm taking Utah plus 3.5 all day.
Do we like that? Just that being said, you sound surprised that they're underdogs.
Yeah.
You taking the plus 3.5, obviously, because that's the sensible thing to do.
Yeah.
But for those of us that are not very sensible on a Friday, especially if it's payday weekend, mm-hmm. we like the plus 134 on Utah money line, right?
Yeah, but this is when you tend to get a little ahead of me. You might get a little ahead of me, as a gambler. I know what I'm doing too, boss. Don't worry about it. Next game we're looking at on Saturday is another top 20 matchup. We get number 20 Ole Miss against number 13 LSU. Ole Miss didn't look as organized as I thought they would look against Bama, which I guess it is Alabama, but at the same time, this isn't the same Alabama team people are used to seeing. So I really expected them to have more fight, more grit, but they just didn't look as organized as I thought they would. But LSU obviously has a little bone to pick. They took a rough week 1 loss. They fell down the charts pretty heavily for that type of matchup and then that type of loss. And then they've had a rough couple weeks. It hasn't been easy, to say the least. But I do like them to win this game. And after watching Ole Miss, I do think 2.5 points is enough for me to jump on the minus 110. So I like LSU minus 2.5. I just don't see it being that close, like a 1-point game. I guess that's the weird thing about those lines. I think I would I'll probably even look into the minus 3.5, minus 4.5, just in case I can get, a 10-point lead or something like that early. And then you got number 11 Notre Dame against number 17 Duke, and I think Notre Dame's going to be another one of those teams after a tough loss to Ohio State that really are going to be fired up. And then Duke has a incredible quarterback But incredible quarterbacks are, sometimes just not enough. I know I can't really think the one quarterback that has dragged his team to the glory land is Mike Vick. And then, well, anybody that's old enough, who he ran into. So that didn't quite work. So Notre Dame, I think, is going to be too stout. They have the best offensive line in the league, to be honest, in the nation, in my opinion. I think that's going to be a pretty demanding game that they're going to make a statement. I don't see Duke keeping it within 5.5 points. I don't see Duke keeping it within 6.5 points. So I'm going to take that Notre Dame minus 5.5 all day. And then I am most definitely running the money lines on all three for a good old treble. But I'm not going to give that out. You have to come rock with us if I make any other combos on those. But yeah, I'm going to stick with the top 20 matchups this week just because they're very good team matchups. I think it could be a very even.
Well, I mean, you've sold me on the fact that you've picked seed 10 and seed 13, so you already know I'm running those two together.
No,
that sounds good, bro. I mean, I'm not going to talk about it much now. I'm just going to...
No, mention it, though. Maybe I can.
No, you're going to be very surprised. I don't think you have any clue what is coming out of my mouth now about what else is going on this weekend in the sporting world. It is actually one of the biggest sporting events, globally. Doesn't happen every year, but it is the USA versus Europe in the Ryder Cup. It's golf, by the way. For anyone,
yes, I know what the Ryder Cup is. Thank you.
Anyone not familiar? I wasn't talking to you. I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to the people that are listening to this.
He was, folks. He was, folks. Don't let him fool you.
I love the Ryder Cup. I have to root for Europe. It's obviously what I have to do. But there will be, once the teams are picked, for anyone that's unfamiliar with the format, 12 guys on each team, they play off against one another in pairs, and then on Sunday there'll be singles. So once the pairs are announced, going into the weekend, there'll be a lot of the four balls and the foursomes. When they play one another, I'll be posting some picks for who's going to win those matchups. I say I have to root for Europe. I do have to root for Europe, but if I take take that out of it, the USA actually has the much better team across the weekend. So you can there's going to be boosts all over the show this weekend for Ryder Cup. I've seen DraftKings already boosted USA. I think they boosted the USA to win at plus 110. They're already plus 110 on FanDuel. So just waiting to see if FanDuel give me a boost on Team USA. But hey, the tie is out there at plus 1,000. Doesn't happen, but might be worth a shot. Because this type of, again, this is just a one-off event that happens every couple of years. It is my life's mission to go and watch this when it's back in the States in the next couple of years. So yeah, just wanted to throw that one out there. Don't want us, hey, we don't just talk about the college football, the NFL, the MLB, any major sporting events, especially when it's an event such as this. We can find you something to bet on if you're interested. And hey, if you have an interest in it, then hit us up on the Twitter. Tell us what you're betting at PW_house money, and just talk us through what your bets are, and maybe tell us what we should be betting on. Because I know there's a lot of people out there that pay a lot more attention to the golf than I do, certainly than I have recently. But yeah, there's a lot of sharp people out there that know a lot about a lot of things. But yeah, just wanted to throw that one out there. But sorry to hijack your. Let's move on.
Hey, if it'll make us money, you're not. Hey, hijack me and then hijack the books, and I'm good with it.
Well, that's fair. Tonight, I don't love this game. from a betting perspective, I really don't. The Lions at Green Bay. It's funny. I obviously picked Green Bay a couple of weeks ago and said they looked good against your lot, and I kind of take that back a little bit. Obviously, I was just saying that because they played against you. My favorite bets just really revolve around the Lions winning this game comfortably. Lions minus 1.5 first half. I mean, we saw how the Packers played first half against the Saints. And that was the Saints with Derek. Like this Lions offense is better than that Saints offense.
Yeah, by hurt anyway.
By quite a way. So the fact that I'm going to get plus money, plus 120 on the Lions to win the first half with a minus 1.5 spread, I love that. Amon-Ra TD plus 140. We in the Discord, shout out to Big Victor. He's your boy, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He had himself a pretty good Sunday. He was big on Sam Laporta touchdown, and he ran a treble that he posted in the Discord for us, which hit. That was plus 1,600, plus 1,700, I think. He did boost it, but yeah, he was big on Sam Laporta touchdown last week. As I think a lot of people,
like plus 220 or plus 230, something like that.
Yeah. But I think this week does, it comes back to Amon-Ra. Amon-Ra's going to go, 8-9 catches, close on 100 yards again, if not well over that. So, again, love that value on the touchdown for him. And just the alt spread, I think the Lions win this game by a touchdown at least. So pushing the alt spread, taking the Lions minus 6.5 tonight, plus 220. Yeah, I don't see, even in Green Bay, I don't see Jordan Love doing the same kind of thing and pulling his team. If his team are down by a touchdown at halftime, I don't see him turning it around. But
yeah, no.
What do you think?
I think I didn't really want to go too big into props on this one, only because it's more so how I think the game is going to go. So me and you are going to really have everything's going to mirror. One thing I will say about Amon-Ra St. Brown is that he will be getting schemed from that back four, and they play very sound, especially when they're in their rhythm. But I think that pass rush from Detroit is going to be the difference maker. I just don't see Jordan Love getting enough of the big plays to make it a game. I don't see many methodical drives coming from him anytime soon, at least. So, I mean, if they can't get that run game going, obviously I say that instead of week one, but I think, I could have driven a car through the Chicago Bears defense running. I could have played running back for the Green Bay Packers that week, and I wouldn't even have to hit the gym. I would have been untouched. It would have been cool. I'd have looked like DeAndre Swift. And so I don't see Green Bay keeping this, as close, but it is also a Thursday night game. So I always kind of get weary where it's like, this is probably going to be just an ugly game. I do think Detroit wins. The money line would definitely be a straight that I would tell anybody was a good bet. And I would rather go Amon-Ra St. Brown's yardage line than the touchdown personally. If you can look up that, I don't have it up on mine. What's his odds? What's his line if they have him? And the odds on that, I would definitely take the yardage, and I'd probably take his catches.
72.5 at minus 114.
Love it.
And 6.5 at plus 104.
Love it. Love both of those. Yeah, money line and those two ones. I get you, plus 350, something like that. So, but yeah, I don't see. Yeah, Green Bay just happened to play, Alabama's backup team week one, and then last week kind of exposed. But I think that game against the Saints really just exposed how bad it could really look in some of these matchups. So, but I don't even want to talk about anybody looking bad in matchups last week anyway. So it is what it is. Shout out Taylor Swift. Shout out Taylor Swift.
Shout out Taylor Swift. Yeah, she was about the only good thing in that matchup, huh?
Yeah, let's just leave it at that. Shout out Taylor Swift. That album is going to be fire, though. That breakup album is going to be fire.
Breakup album is going to be fire. You are.
That breakup album is going to be fire.
We could do a whole show. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I know. I don't even want to get you going. That's what I'm saying. I don't even want to get you going yet, but just know that album's going to be fire.
Yep. I actually genuinely hope this is not a publicity stunt.
Man, look, it don't have to be. It doesn't have to be. But what do you got? What do you got for the people on Sunday, bro? We know that breakup coming and that album gonna be fire, bro. Trust me. Just the people want to know what's in the money.
What we betting on Sunday is I don't like a lot. Just looking at it, looking at it today, I don't like some of these matchups. I really don't like them from a betting perspective. So I literally just picked two, and I've thrown the team total thing not completely out the window, but last weekend didn't go very well for me. I think I hit 1 out of 3.
NFL's tougher to do the team totals. Yeah. I feel like college was really, really easy for me until Notre Dame couldn't get me 25. So
yeah,
NFL's
but the two games, and it's again, I like to kind of sometimes pick. Obviously, we have more games at 1 p.m. Eastern than we do later on, and I like to get most of it out the way on the 1 p.m. games. You know, I've talked about this on the soccer side. I don't like to spread my bets out across the whole day. The impatient stuff, but the two games I actually really like from a bet, like that are probably two of the most one-sided games of the weekend are the later games, and then the Sunday night game, which is funny. You talk about a certain lady potentially being back in New York. I've already looked at tickets. I might well be there myself. The Chiefs at the Jets. The line there is minus 9.5, but the over is 42.5. So I really like the over. And I paired the over with the Chiefs over 26.5, because if the over goes, Chiefs are getting most of that, obviously. So it doesn't give you too much. It gives you a little bit of a boost, not a huge boost, because
right.
Obviously the thought process being that Chiefs are gonna score most of those points anyway. But
the books treat those as like a pairing that help each other, so they don't. Yeah, you won't get them.
But it boosts it to plus money.
Right.
So taking that one and then pairing that with the 4:25 game, one of the late games, Arizona West Coast game, they go over to San Fran, and again, like, I know the Cardinals made the Cowboys look silly this weekend, and they almost made the Giants look silly the week before, so they're not laying down and tanking like everyone said they were going to. But this Niners team is a little bit different. You know, defensively, I don't see the Cardinals doing much at all. They might. I'm hoping they score 1 or 2. 10 points. Right. If they can give me 10 points, I'll be happy, because I'm doing exactly the same thing for that game. The over is 43.5, and the 49ers team total line is 28.5. So I definitely think the 49ers do kind of similar to what they did last Thursday, and put up 30-plus points. So putting those four together, the two overs and the Niners and the Chiefs team totals gives me plus 450, which is, that's where I'm going on Sunday.
I like it. I went a little bit, not too much different, but a little different only because I saw that 3 teams are considered underdogs to the books that they left me scratching my head. Obviously, I know the matchups are, different, and, everybody thinks certain teams are, one thing, and sometimes they can't accept when they're not. But Miami being an underdog to Buffalo is just mind-blowing to me.
Even in Buffalo.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is not even November yet. That doesn't even matter. We're talking about noise. We're not. Come on, let's be serious. It's like, dude, come on. So I'm taking Miami plus 2.5. I might take that by itself. To it, like, I don't care who they think Buffalo has on defense, bro. I don't care. who they think is going to stop that offense. But Mike McDaniel's just having fun with it now. Like, some of the plays he runs, you're just like, bro, this guy is an evil genius. Like, it's insane. So I just don't see Buffalo, especially with how they've looked on offense in a couple of these games. I know they hung 37 on Washington, a team that put up 3 points, I want to say it was. I'm not impressed enough to tell me that the team that just hung 70, who had arguably the best corner in the league right now on the guide, and Waddle out. Come on, bro. Stop it. 2.5 points? I'll mess around and take Miami minus 3.5 points, like, for the plus money. Like, that's crazy. So the plus 2.5 is kind of the safety play, you know. And then we get Baltimore plus 2.5, which is kind of, I don't know. They're playing Cleveland. So after seeing that Cleveland-Pittsburgh game, I just can never expect it to be like a good enough team, like a good enough offensive game to just keep up with the way Baltimore's playing right now. And then I kind of went a little offset. I went Rams at plus 1.5, which was kind of crazy because they're underdogs to Indianapolis. I know Richardson is supposed to be playing, but he's facing Aaron Donald. So it's like, I don't care. You know, I get it, but like LA had a great game Monday. Obviously, it didn't all come together, but I think that team has enough to give these teams games, and India is still too young for me to take them in that. And then I went Dallas and New England over 43 because New England's, I mean, they haven't been great. They haven't looked great, but I think when you do give Mac Jones the opportunity to throw downfield a little bit more consistently, like to get into a rhythm, I mean, he's not playing terrible, and he doesn't look terrible when he does it. You might get the turnovers and whatnot because it's Dallas, and then Dallas, I mean, you just got embarrassed by Arizona. If you guys don't put up 30 points, I can't look at you the same. So, so I love those 4. I might do some diabolical shit with Miami on Sunday. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. Like, that might be the day where I'm like, hey, SGP, everybody for $1 million. Like, let's get this money.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you, bro. That fourfold, by the way, is plus 1,200 on FanDuel. Pru's 4 bets. The lines are possibly a little bit different on FanDuel. I think the Miami's plus 3 now. They're giving you 3 points rather than the 2.5.
So I even get the push. So I even get the push opportunity.
So
they're crazy. They are crazy.
Yeah,
they are crazy. I'm tired of the Josh Allen. That is Josh Allen propaganda. That is Josh Allen propaganda. That is crazy. That is insane. Miami's defenses look good. I won't even keep you. But just know that the books are absolutely crazy for giving you the push. Bet that plus 3 on FanDuel.
Yeah, I mean, looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing these SGPs for Miami. You're selling me on the fact that we should go all in. Doesn't take much. You're right.
It doesn't take much.
But yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you everyone for watching and listening to us again. Shoot us any questions that you have on Twitter at PW_housemoney. Last couple of days to jump in the Discord. NFL Kickoff is the code to use that gets you your first month for free. Jump in over there. Shoot us any questions at PruBaby10, at Iceman_1013 on Twitter. Good luck with all your bets this weekend, whether you're tailing or fading us. And we will see you next Thursday playing with more house money.
All right, y'all.